Hello, and welcome to TCS Student News. I'm your host, Olivia Yates. Let's get started with the news. For our first story, we will be talking about plastic in our oceans. There's a place called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is a hot spot for marine waste, and was created by the spiral currents of the North Pacific Gyre. It is reported to be a floating trash island the size of Russia. There are 750,000 microscopic trash pieces per square kilometer in the garbage patch. On the island of Tuvalu, which lacks space to dispose trash, has made the island very hazardous. The people throw their trash outside, and people are trying to burn it, which is causing a constant pall of black smoke. 5 of the islanders had cancer, and 2 died while the researchers were studying the island. So how does any of this affect you? Well, when the animals swim through the water, they mistake the plastic for food, so they eat it. And this plastic is not digested. These fish that eat the tiny plastic pieces are eventually captured, and people end up eating them. What ends up in our oceans ends up in you. There are ways to prevent this plastic getting into our oceans. You can dispose of all trash properly, recycle, and buy things in bulk. We have been discussing this problem in our health course recently. For our next story, we will be talking about children's health insurance. President Donald Trump's budget plan to cut the children's health insurance program by at least 20% over the next 2 years and slash Medicaid covers more than 1 million children. Millions of poor and working families could lose their health coverage if this proposed budget, called A New Foundation for American Greatness, gets through. It would hit children's health care hard and break Trump's campaign promise to save Medicaid without cuts. The proposed budget would cut Medicaid more than $800 billion over the next decade. When Trump ran on the promise to end Obamacare and give people better health care, he promised not to touch Medicaid. But Office of Management and Budget Director Mick Mulvaney said Monday that Trump personally approved each cut. Mulvaney said that he went to the president with a list of proposed entitlement reforms, and President Trump went down the list saying yes or no. The budget would also slash other programs that help the working poor. It cuts food stamps, student programs, the Earned Income Credit, the Child Tax Credit, and disability payments, among others, while increasing military spending and border security and infrastructure. For our next story, we will be talking about the recent suicide bombing at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester. On Monday night, a 22-year-old man named Salman Abedi suicide bombed Ariana Grande's concert. The bomb killed 22 people and injured 59. Abedi was born in the UK to Libyan parents. His father and brother have now been arrested in Libya on Wednesday. Hashem, Abedi's brother, is alleged to have links to ISIS, who has claimed responsibility for the bombing. Abedi's parents warned authorities that Salman Abedi was dangerous and persuaded him to come to Libya and confiscated his passport. But the 22-year-old persuaded his parents he was getting ready to visit Saudi Arabia for a short Umrah pilgrimage. It was reported he in fact came back to the UK via Germany from Turkey 4 days before the bombing. The students and faculty of TCS send their thoughts and prayers to the victims and families of the attack. Okay, let's talk about some TCS student news. Last Friday, we watched a movie called Schindler's List. The film is about a man named Oskar Schindler, who was a German businessman, spy, and member of the Nazi Party, who was responsible for saving the lives of more than 1,000 refugees from the Holocaust by employing them in his factories during World War II. At the end of the movie, it showed the real people who were saved by Schindler. After the movie, the class had an insightful discussion about the movie. The students were able to relate it to Mr. Larry's conversation with. Mr. Larry talked to the class about his mother, who lived through the Holocaust and was in Auschwitz for a time. For more detail about Mr. Larry's conversation with, watch last week's broadcast. Thank you, Mr. Tom, for showing us this movie. It was very real. On Tuesday, Evan Green, a former TCS student, came in for a conversation with. Evan is in the Air Force and arms F-16 fighter jets. Evan talked about why he is in the Air Force, what it is like, and the type of discipline you receive there. Thank you for coming in. On Tuesday, we also had 2 shadow students come in, Rachel and Arisa. We hope you can join us next year at TCS. On Tuesday, it was also Jordan's birthday. Jordan turned 16. Happy birthday, Jordan. This is the last year for some of the students at TCS. I spoke to Darrell, who was one of the graduating students. Darrell said, "I am always going to be here. Even though I am not going to be a student here, I am always going to take the lessons TCS taught me. I also spoke to Janai, who said, "Leaving TCS will be sad, but I will be happy knowing that there is a place I can come to if I need help. I will never forget the experiences I've had and the lessons I've learned from both teachers and students. Thank you." Sadie, who is also graduating, said, "Mr. Tom has been a great teacher and mentor to me. Under his mentorship, I feel as though I am a better student and ultimately a better person. As I leave TCS, I know that there is a person who I will always be able to call on when I need help. He has prepared me for the challenges that I will face when I leave. I am truly grateful. From all of us at TCS, we wish you good luck on your journey." I would like to thank Mr. Noah for being a teacher and a mentor here at TCS. This was Mr. Noah's first year here, and he did a really amazing job. Mr. Noah worked very hard for the students to have a good year, and he did a lot to help the school. I spoke to two Year 1 students about Mr. Noah and how much he has helped them. One of them was Sarah. Sarah said, "Mr. Noah is an excellent teacher. He has helped me get through the things I thought I could never get through." Another Year 1, Sean, said, "Mr. Noah has done a lot for me while I have been here. I really appreciate all he does for me and for the school." Speaking of teachers, I would like to thank Mr. Tom for everything he does for the school. Mr. Tom is an amazing teacher and mentor. I have learned so much here at TCS. You have grown us all so much. I took some statements from the students here at TCS. One of them was Spencer. Spencer said, "Mr. Tom has changed my life in so many ways for the better and became a major figure for me to look up to." I also spoke to Kirsten, who said, "Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. You have changed me in so many ways I never thought possible." Before we go, I would like to thank everybody for a great year. Thank you, students, the staff, and family members. Thank you to Miss Pig and Miss Carroll for the spectacular lunches. Thank you to Mr. Don for the awesome writing classes. They really challenged us to think deeply. And thank you to Mr. Eduardo for being our gym teacher. And thank you to the Greenmount School for letting us use your gym. I hope everyone has a great summer. Thank you for tuning into this broadcast.